Welcome everybody into the beautiful Talladega Superspeedway from Talladega, Alabama. We've got some awesome Champion Power Equipment iRacing Truck Series action coming at you live here tonight from Talladega. I'm Austin Edstrom, standing alongside Brian Britt and also Austin Derbyshire behind the production booth. As always, Brian, this is my home track, man. You know I'm excited. How excited are you to get the Superspeedway racing kicked off tonight?
Oh, I'm definitely excited. I mean, 2.66 miles of high-octane action. You know, I got to use
yes!
that. But it's going to be an awesome one. Talladega Superspeedway. I mean, this is the Mac Daddy of the Superspeedways right here. The longest oval track, I do believe, on the service here, or should I say in the NASCAR rotation. I should say there is a fake track called iRacing Superspeedway that is in on the service. But I am definitely excited. I think these guys are going to be racing hard. We're going to probably see some 3-wide, I think even some 4-wide action here tonight.
I think that's a pretty safe bet. I remember seeing some 4-wide accidents last time we were here. And I got to point out, is the Monza Oval longer than Talladega? And that's a real track. So that one,
I think it's 3 miles. I think that's
miles.
Yeah.
So there is one oval, even though we're never going to see it, more than likely. We're never really going to see it used. I think that's been even... That's all, I believe that's all done. Oh, I think that they, I don't know what's going on. I think my Discord's lagging out a little bit, but we're back. And for the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series, luckily, unfortunately, a little bit of lag here tonight on my internet, and hopefully I will have that resolved by the time the race starts. But I believe we're going to jump into our keys to the race here. Brian Britt, what'd you come up with?
Well, yeah, this is definitely very interesting to see how this all plays out. And I think what's going to be very important is be in the draft to save gas. Gas is going to be something that you're going to be wanting to keep an eye on here tonight. Of course, tires not going to be a big deal. But the second one, of course, I do believe it's going to be have friends. I mean, you know, Superspeedway racing is always a team sport in a lot of ways. So if you have made friends throughout the season so far, now's the time to use them and take advantage of them. Of course, and the third one is a very simple one. Don't die. We only have one fast pair. Superspeedway accidents usually are race enders, so wouldn't be surprised if we see some drivers not make it to the end here tonight.
Yeah, you might want to show a little bit of restraint until we get down to the final couple of laps, and then at that point, don't lift until you see God or the checkered flag. But our broadcast picks, we're going to move into those real quick. First up, my pick is going to be the guy that won at Talladega last season. I think Jason Taylor's going to go back-to-back. He's got a good teammate helping him with Andrew Hale. I like the 15 tonight.
That's a good choice. I'm going to go with, you know, kind of a Hail Mary move here. George Young. He's been showing some potential here as of late. I think he's going to be really strong at the Superspeedway. I'm going to pick that 48. And I do
like
believe
that
our
pick.
Producer.
Oh, man, Darby's going with a full homer this weekend. Brian, if you were here last night, he picked Justin Levine, and then he picked Justin Levine, and now tonight he's picking James South. Unbelievable grid vision homerisms from Derbyshire over here. I love it.
Yeah, and South, I mean, this is not a bad pick. James South is a really
good
good
pick.
plate racer. He's a really fast plate racer, so we'll see what he's able to do.
I agree. I got to agree with you 100%. I do think James South could show a little bit of Superspeedway prowess here tonight and perhaps put himself up towards the front of the field. A little bit bigger field here tonight. I believe we've got 24 drivers out there laying down qualifying laps currently. So decent field for a Superspeedway race here at Talladega. Should give us a really good show. I mean, Brian, the racing last night, I don't think you got to watch it, but it's got me hyped for tonight. The A Open last night was unbelievable, and I think we're going to get something equally as crazy here tonight in the trucks. Well,
you love to hear that for sure. I do. But before we go through the grid, I do want to say a little bit about the point situation. Not too much. Nathan Meyer, of course, he's in first. Keegan Sabilo's in second. James Harris is in third. They're only separated by 3 points from first, second, and third. So this could determine who leaves with the points lead here tonight.
Goodness gracious, super tight between those guys. We're gonna run through our starting grid though currently as Darby gets us a nice little camera angle going through the middle of the outside and inside line here. Up on the pole though, gonna be the number 8 truck of Carter Casey. Nathan Meyer in second. James Harris starting in third with Gar Schneider on the outside of row number 2. Keegan Sabilo is going to be starting in 5th with Cody Hemingway in 6th. George Young in 7th. Timothy Babcock in 8th. Kalen Mitchell in 9th. And William Mann Jr. rounds out the top 10.
11th place, Brian High. John Lucido in 12th place. Nick Gazabowski, giving me the hard ones. 14th, Jason Taylor. 15th, James South. 16th, Ray Kennison. 17th, Andrew Hale. 18th, Colby Jackson. 19th, Dan Hillowig. 20th, Brian Thacker. We'll go ahead and go through the rest of the field. 21st, Mark Thompson, 22nd. Brian Lorenzo, 23rd. Tyler Meeks, and 24th. Russ Kilgore. So that is a 24-car field. Definitely a great-looking field here tonight at Talladega.
And we do have a couple of new drivers in the field, so if we're a little hesitant with some of our calls on a couple of our guys, we do have a couple new guys in the field. We have to get a little acclimated to their paint schemes. Carter Casey, not his first night in the field, but he does have a new paint scheme as well, so might have to get used to that Reese's Puff machine up on the front. I do believe everybody is gridded though, so we're getting ready. I do too, man. That orange stands out really nice.
Yeah, it's gonna be easy to know where he's at. That's for
and I love
sure.
Reese's too. I'm telling him. The second favorite, I say Reese's. They're not Reese's.
I say
They're
Reese's
Reese's.
too. I'm an American.
I say Reese's. So yeah,
in America.
my producer was telling me it's Reese's. I don't care if it's Reese's. It's Reese's down here in the South, buddy.
I'm telling you, that's right. That's right.
South Carolina and Alabama are uniting on this one.
That's right. You always make fun of me about
Second
South
time
Carolina.
since 1864 we've matched up. This one's a lot better than the last one.
Yeah, this one will go over a lot better.
Carter Casey leading the way down here on the inside. Man, wow, what a terrible joke to start this one off on. But
I was pretty bad.
Hey, we're unhinged up here in the Grid Vision booth. We should know that by now. And we are in Alabama, so I mean, you got to play the part, right?
Yeah.
Goodness
gracious.
gracious.
We're at Talladega. I mean, this place, I don't know if you've heard this, but this place is cursed in a lot of ways. I mean, whenever they're building this place, they had people die in the construction of Talladega, and
there's an Indian burial ground like right out back, or they are on top of it.
I've heard that before too.
I might have done some dancing on some Indian graves a couple times in the infield of Talladega over the years, unknowingly.
Oh no! I know you've been to this track a few times, haven't you?
Oh, a few would be an understatement. I'm looking forward to being back there this Friday night. It's gonna be wild, but it's gonna be crazy tonight on the virtual version of it. I mean, I can't wait, man. This racetrack just puts on a good show. It's just so wide, like you mentioned. You got the capability for 4 wide. There's just so many lanes, so many grooves. You can do so much at this racetrack that you really can't do at an Atlanta or a Daytona. Talladega is its own beast.
I don't know what James Harris is doing right now, but I do know field window is about 31 to 33 laps, depending on whether you're in the draft or not. So that's why I kind of said that you want to be in the draft to make sure you save gas. Because, I mean, especially if maybe we see a last-minute green-white checkered or something like that that makes the fuel be stretched a little bit, that might be a reason to, kind of stay in the draft and save some fuel here. So we'll see what happens here. Getting ready to go green.
And if it does go green the entire way, it's 60-lap race, so you'd have to cut that right in the half to be able to make it on fuel. But coming to the green flag for the first time tonight, Carter Casey is going to lead us down side by side with Nathan Meyer, coming down to the restart zone. The green flag is out, and we are racing from the Talladega Superspeedway.
Lars Schneider with some issues. James Harris moves up to the top as they enter turn 1. And it looks like Harris going to be pushing, I do believe, Nathan Meyer in that 24. You see Gar Snyder as well trying to get lined up. I do believe I see the 29. No, I'm sorry. That's actually the 23 of Cody Hemingway in that red machine up there. There's some new paint schemes down here, but you can see the bottom line trying to hold strong. But on the backstretch, this is where this top line is going to find the strength.
Yeah, we've got to be careful about bumper hook here in the early going. I was talking about how I called 2 races last night, one the A car, one in the B car. But those cars, you can kind of hit the heck out of somebody in the back bumper and give them a good boost. Here in the trucks, you can do the same, but it's a whole lot easier to hook somebody. I don't know if it's the little license plate thing on the back bumper or what, but you can get your nose stuck somewhere on the back bumper that just rips somebody around here at these super speedways. So you just got to be careful for that, especially at the early going. Don't want to use up anybody's fast repair in the first 10 laps.
Yeah, definitely not. Those fast repairs are going to be a very valuable thing to have here at this racetrack. But sometimes, even if we see a big accident, having that fast repair might not even help you because you might not be able to make it to the pits after a crash like this. But looks like the bottom line is actually doing really, really well. I think George Young definitely adding a little bit of power to that bottom line, as of course Carter Casey so far in control. But you can see little spurts of potential here from that top line. They just keep moving forward. But you can see in the corners, bottom line definitely has the advantage.
Yeah, and there's a couple of different strategies going on here. At least I don't know if this was an intentional strategy, but Jason Taylor, Andrew Hale, way off the pace. I mean, they are way, way, way off this main pack. I got to say that they're saving their stuff here in the early going because Andrew Hale's so far back. I think Jason Taylor dropping back to pick him up so they have a 2-car tandem so that they at least don't get lapped anytime soon. But as they're racing up front, 3 wide, Gar Snyder almost puts up in the fence. Door-to-door contact and almost 4 wide as he comes back down, just 3 with the 23.
Yeah, they were 3 wide. I do believe William Mann Jr., who was in the 29 machine, might have touched, I do believe, the 5 of Garth Schneider a little bit, sent him up the racetrack. I don't know if Garth knew he was down there. It was just a little bit, kind of the walls closed in there. And fortunately, we did not have a caution. But that is interesting. You mentioned about those 2 drivers that are staying towards the back, Jason Taylor and Andrew Hale. We know those guys always work together. I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, Jason was pushed by Andrew Hale in his last win. And then I know another race, Jason pushed Andrew to a win. So I would not be surprised that they are working out some sort of strategy, but I just know that they are falling off this pack very, very quickly. In order for their strategy to work, they need a caution.
Oh, absolutely. They're definitely in the caution area. You can tell they're just saving the fast repair, and I'm inclined to trust them because of their track record on the super speedways recently. But it does worry me that they've dropped off 8 seconds from the race lead already. That's a massive, massive gap after 4 laps. They're finally hooked up together. They were spread apart by about 1.5 seconds, so they weren't even getting the draft off of each other, so they were losing even more time. But still, 8 seconds in just a handful of laps, that's massive for those 2 guys. They're going to need a caution probably before that halfway point.
Well, I mean, that just goes to show you how big the draft is. If you lose the draft, you're in no man's land. I mean, it is just, it's not fun to be in no man's land. I mean, super speedway racing is a lot of fun. It's hard pounding action, but if you lose the draft, it becomes a snooze fest real fast.
It really does. I couldn't tell you. Oh, man, James Harris ducking to the outside here of Carter Casey into 8. Side driving him back, making it 3 wide for the 3rd place position. Keegan Sabilo now clear in 2nd. I believe George Young is clear for 3rd on the inside as well. James Harris with the push. Oh, look at this. Keegan Sabilo ducks out to the outside. So does the 57. Is that Mitchell?
I do believe that is Kalen Mitchell, new driver to the series. Very interesting to see that 6-7. Love that paint scheme. Love that yellow. That's pretty cool looking, I got to say. And definitely seems like already mixing it up. There goes Tyler Meeks thinking about putting his nose in where it shouldn't be. Woo, this is getting a little bit scary here up in the top 10.
Yeah, they're not as content with riding here in the early going as I thought that they would be. Pretty crazy 3-wide racing all throughout the pack. I mean, goodness, from 1st to about 15th, everybody is 3 wide under a blanket. Garth Schneider kind of the first one 2 wide with William Mann Jr. As Jr. actually pulls it up to the inside of the 13, and they kind of get a little 3 wide with a 7, little nervy behind George Young.
Man, I don't know where I'd want to be if I was in this race. I think I'd want to be on the bottom just because that's kind of the safest place to be. You can kind of at least escape if something goes wrong. But, I mean, clearly the speed is with the top, middle and top groove right now. That's where the speed seems to be. So James Harris definitely making it work. But the only thing is, if something goes wrong, Austin, Harris is in it probably because it's very difficult to escape when there's nowhere to go. I mean, you got a wall and nothing else unless he can get clear of that bottom line.
It's a risk going up there. It really is. Like you mentioned, there's a lot of speed up there, especially if you get a good row of cars lined up, a good bunch of pushers. You can make a ton of speed, perhaps clear a couple guys down to the bottom side of the racetrack. But the problem, like you mentioned, if they wreck in the corner, due to your angular momentum going around the corner, typically race cars go up towards the wall first before they slide down the banking. Oh, man, the 57, though, just about gets turned down on the back straightaway. But you got to think, if you're on the outside groove, if that wreck does happen under you, it's going to slide up into you here through the exit of 3 and 4.
Yeah, 100%. Here comes a big move from James Harris. He moves down to the middle. I think he must be listening to the broadcast. He's like, let me get up from out there. Pops down in front of Tyler Meeks. Meeks, of course, graciously lets him in line. We also saw a move there. I do believe Keegan Sabilo in the 67 moved down in front of Nathan Meyer a little bit before that. As Keegan Sabilo now in control. He leads that lap. Now, I do believe last week, if I'm not mistaken, Sabilo was able to win at Texas Motor Speedway. So he's coming off of a pretty good run of momentum at the moment. But you can look at that, slows down. This is something we're going to see a lot at Talladega, tracks like this, where you'll see a big push from the 67, gets the 77 moving quite quickly. But then if the 67 backs off, that's going to make that 77 almost look like he hit a parachute.
And there, James Harris was able to clear, duck down to the inside over Keegan Sabilo, leaving Tyler Meeks on the outside. And I got to point out, Tyler Meeks just pushed James Harris up to the race lead. James Harris and Tyler Meeks, don't get me wrong, I don't think they dislike each other, but they've been involved in incidents plenty of times together. but that's the nature of Talladega. Even guys that you probably wouldn't want to work with whatsoever at any other track, you would just instantly side draft and try to pass. At Talladega, you got to push that guy to the front. Even if you hate him, you got to push him up there. Like I said, I don't think they hate each other, but I don't think they're the best of friends either.
No, I agree. And, Meeks, I think he's been due for a win.
True, dude. Oh,
we have not seen him really break through the victory lane. I mean, he's been so good, I think, especially this season. If I'm not mistaken, I think he got a pretty good finish here recently. We didn't get the chance to interview him, but he did get a podium. So hopefully we get a chance to actually have him up in the booth one of these days. But I think that he's definitely due to get himself a trophy, that's for sure. But, eventually it'll come. Hopefully we'll see it. I mean,
I agree with you, man.
In control, Glenn.
That's a great point. I'm very surprised we have not seen Tyler Meeks in victory lane yet. He's shown top 3, top 5 speed in plenty of races. Just hasn't been able to, finish the deal. Atlanta was crazy earlier this season. He almost had an opportunity. It was him and James Harris coming out of the last corner, wrecking each other for the lead and giving it away, I believe, to William Mann Jr. So, I mean, it just hasn't all gone right for Tyler Meeks. And I think that's a great point that you brought up. He's probably the one that is probably the closest to breaking down breaking down the door to victory lane that hasn't in a long time. Obviously, last week or a couple weeks ago, I would have said James Harris, but he got that monkey off of his back a few weeks ago.
100%. You can see a little bit of a move trying to be generated there up on the top side. William Mann Jr. ducking out with, I do believe, the 13 of Brian High, and looks like we got some more drivers starting to move in on this too. I think the 2 of Russ Kilgore starts to move high, so we're seeing a lot of interesting strategies here. I'd say people moving all around. Middle line is starting to seems like it's starting to be deserted in a way.
It's weird. Sometimes people are peeking out to the outside trying to get that third line going, and that kind of causes the middle lane to back up a little bit, and then they'll find a little bit more momentum. Maybe somebody from the bottom will pull up, but to your point, that outside line is really, really falling. That middle line did, but coming out of 2, they got a pretty decent run down the back straightaway. That 2 of Russ Kilgore just not quite able to do anything on the outside. Trying to get to the outside of Gar Schneider, not able to do it yet, though.
Yeah, and they're just going to have patience. I think you're going to have another truck, or they're just going to have somebody that's really, really good at pushing. I mean, that's one thing about a track like Talladega or Daytona. You have to have someone that's on the same page with you that is able to kind of predict your line and really line up perfectly with that back bumper to really, I guess, to be comfortable with getting physical with that back bumper, Because, I mean, that's kind of a scary thing to do, to be pushing someone's truck, But
I agree 100%.
You got to be good at, though.
In the pre-race I was talking about, I feel like the truck is probably the hardest of the 3 typical NASCAR cars to really bump draft. It's obviously possible. You look at Sabila right there on the bottom side of the racetrack, just all over the back bumper. James Harris, Russ Kilgore into the outside fence. William Mann Jr. turns him to 23, hard into the outside wall. 4 or 5 drivers involved in the accident in turn 3 and 4. Most of them just with some door contact, but there were a couple that got sent around. A little bit of fender damage on a couple of these trucks in the back.
Yeah, I think the truck we're going to be looking at is going to be the 2 of Russ Kilgore. Seems like he went around first, if I'm not mistaken. It might have been a bad bump. I mean, I would not be shocked. I think William Mann Jr. was the one that was pushing him, and I would not be shocked that William Mann gave him a bad bump.
Here we
Looking
are.
Back at this right here. I mean, big run. They're gathering of a big. Oh, look! No, it looks like Kilgore maybe got a little bit tight or something there. Because that wasn't based on William Mann Jr.'s bump there. I don't think it was either. Like it might have been maybe some dirty air was being pushed on that 2 car as well.
That was a weird one.
That was a weird one.
I don't really have a good answer for you. I mean, he went straight going into the corner. And to your point, I don't think that was a bad bump. The slow-mo coming in. I mean,
I don't know. He didn't touch him. It just started going up the track.
Could that have been maybe a little bit of net code between the 2?
Now that could have been. Ooh, wow, look at that hit from the 23.
I'm going to go get a better view on my own down into the corner, see if I can get any idea.
Hemingway absolutely demolished. That was a...
Yeah.
Woo.
Luckily for him, he does have that fast repair.
If he can get to pit road.
Yeah, true. Oh, man. If you...
Oh.
The in-car of Russ Kilgore is just strange. It's almost like he does get a boost of speed, but I'm looking at his speed and it doesn't seem that way. I don't know. That's a that's a tough
That's a
accident for
tough
really
one.
me
Yeah.
to really figure out what happened. Just got stuffed in either stuffed himself or got stuffed in the fence. It might have been a little bit of net contact from William Mann
I,
Jr. because it did just look like it took off on him.
I wouldn't. I definitely wouldn't blame William Mann Jr. Oh, they're wrecking on pit road. Tyler Meeks, I do believe, colliding with someone. Who was that? That
What?
purple race car? That is Hillowig, I do believe. No, that's actually Nick Jezebowski.
Oh, that's so tough for Tyler Meeks. He's got some right front damage he might have to come back down and fix, and that's going to ruin his track position that he had gained through the beginning of this thing.
Wow, that's unfortunate. You hate to see stuff like that. Luckily, it happened under caution and not under green flag. Because if it had happened, or if it had happened under green, that would have been a huge loss for these guys when it comes to time. I mean, time is everything at super speedways.
Oh, absolutely. Speaking of time, we're going to take this time to take our first commercial break since we're under the yellow flag. Be sure to stick with us. We got 45 more laps of action in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series coming at you on the other side. Welcome back to the grid from Talladega Superspeedway here in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series. We got a little bit of a replay for you. This is what happened on pit road. Well, old little Dubby getting that thing spun right around. That little W82, I like to see it. Alabama accent gonna come out for you guys for the rest of the night. This is what I'm gonna be putting on Friday night whenever I wear my cowboy boots that I only put on whenever I go to the infield of Talladega. Just kidding. I'm probably the most northern Alabamian you will ever meet in your life. But
Not tonight,
I
though.
definitely do act the part down in Talladega. I'll give it to you. I'll be honest. If you see me down there, if you see anybody wearing a white Goodwrench hat and a Dale Earnhardt racing jacket, that is me. You can come up and you can witness the Alabama firsthand for yourself. Kind of getting a better look at what happened coming down pit road as the 82 is coming down pretty late. Timothy Babcock right behind him. Obviously at the back of the pack here, just kind of minding their own business during the green flag. Just coming down pit road, obviously at the back of the pack because of that, and just kind of got spread out over the course of the run, or coming down pit road. And 82 had no idea the 7 had come out of pit road, man. I mean, that's a pretty blind spot for the 82.
Yeah, it looks like we're getting ready to go green here.
Keegan Sevilla leading the way. Chose the outside line. That number 77 in the outside groove is our race leader. Coming down to the restart zone. Keegan Sevilla to the gas on the outside. Barney the flag man waving that green flag, and we're back to green flag racing on lap number 16.
Yeah, really good start from Keegan. He had a lot of help from the 67 of Kalen Mitchell, your new driver to the series. Have never seen this driver in action. Looks like he or she definitely knows what they're doing. But of course, you see Brian Lorenzo. Was that funny? I mean, I don't know. Kaylin, is that a girl's name or a boy?
Let's just say he for the rest of the night. It was just funny that I appreciate the conservative aspect of it, but it was just funny. I've never heard somebody talk about a race car driver and go he or she.
I don't know.
See, that's why I respect it. It was nice, but I'm going to say he the whole night.
Okay. But Lorenzo is definitely having some blinking issues there as he is in the lead, being pushed by Nathan Meyer. But yeah, so looks like that top line is starting to really come into its own. You see James Harris trying to draft his way up to the back end of the 24 machine. So the 77 trying to get that run back going on the bottom. Looks like the bottom line is starting to surge ahead.
Yep, Keeganli Sabilo on the inside, going against Brianna Lorenzo on the outside in the 51. Trying to get the run off at turn number 2. She's all over the place. Anyway, Keegan Sabilo on the inside with Kaylin Mitchell.
I just didn't want to make anybody mad. I don't know.
No, it was funny. I just have to pick on it, dude. You know me. I thought, yeah, exactly. That's our producer saying. It was hilarious. But Kaylin Mitchell, the one that started this hullabaloo on the inside of the racetrack, behind that little blue 77 of Keegan Sabilo.
But yeah, Keegan. Oh, big move there for the 3, moving up to the track. That's Colby Jackson. And look at this, Nathan Meyer taking it 3 wide. Nobody helping him, though.
He didn't want to do that, but he gave a push to Lorenzo that sent Lorenzo to the inside and kind of forced himself 3 wide, and he's got absolutely zero help on the outside group, just going all the way back. And then right after that, James Harris almost junked the field by bumping Brian Lorenzo in a terrible spot. Oh, a couple people ducking out. They've been seeing the bad pushes. I think that's John Lucido ducking out of line. Probably a smart call at this point. I mean, it's been a little racy up front, and it's just not worth it at this point, man. Oh, man, they're 3 wide again. Lorenzo just shifted down to the bottom of the racetrack to the middle groove for no reason. Gar Schneider almost made it 4 in between them. Oh, my word. What in the world? Instead, it's just 3. Nathan Meyer coming up to pick up James Harris on the outside with a little help from Timothy Babcock.
Yeah, this is looking like this could go bad at any point right now. I mean, we're seeing a lot of drivers getting shuffled out. Gar Schneider's moving all over the place in the middle of the line there. I'm a little worried, to be honest. There's too many trucks out here.
I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm a little bit more than a little worried. I feel like I'm about to get shot off in one of those little, you know, they put you in the little ball down at the beach that just shoots you 300 feet up in the air. I feel like I'm in one of those right now.
Yeah, I'm never doing that.
I have. It's scary.
It sounds like it.
Nathan Meyer, James Harris down to the bottom side of the racetrack, clearing themselves from the top. And like you were talking about earlier, that top side, it's got some speed if you get the right people up there. Babcock pushing Nathan Meyer, pushing James Harris, gets them up to the race lead on the bottom side of the racetrack now.
Yeah, no, that top line, if you have the right people in there, it seems like it's able to generate massive runs. But the only thing is, you need the numbers. That middle group's still staying alive, even though they have less numbers. Gar Schneider and the 51 of Brian Lorenzo working very well together here. Let's see if they keep doing it. Looks like they're able to be side by side with leader James Harris. I think if Colby Jackson could get up there and draft his way up to this 5, it would really put him a lot more speed in this middle groove. But it looks like Colby's having a tough time holding this line.
I am having some major computer troubles, but I am back for now. iRacing has crashed on my end, but luckily our producer has Discord up for me. So James Harris on the inside here. Nathan Meyer still pushing him through on the bottom. Unfortunately, Brian, I lagged out so bad I did not hear anything you just said, so I'm sorry if you had something important. But Brian Lorenzo in the middle lane getting pushed by Gar Schneider. Ooh, late move up to the top side of the racetrack, a little bit further back, trying to get that outside groove going.
Yeah, that's Colby Jackson. I was just talking about him, how he seems like he's a little bit unpredictable when it comes to the line he's running. He's very out of sorts, not holding a good line. And he jumps up in front of Timothy Babcock. So Babcock's probably a little bit worried. He's probably been watching this driver. Wouldn't be surprised if he's a little bit scared to push him, to be honest with you.
I just do have a lap push anybody at this point.
We do have a lap car coming up as well. That this could cause maybe some troubles. I think we're already 3 wide. This could force us 4 wide if this lap car doesn't get out of the way. I'm not sure who that is.
Is that Kennison? No, Kennison's in a very, very bright green. That's got to be a truck that's already a lap down. It's got to be Hemingway or Thompson.
I think that is Hemingway.
No, it's Thompson in the 25.
Oh, yeah, that is. Okay.
Credit to him to getting down to the bottom side of the racetrack, though. Tough spot to do that off of turn number 4 with them breathing 3 wide down your neck. Great job, Thompson, getting down there and letting these guys race it out here. Lap number 21. Coming to 22, James Harris still leading the way over Nathan Meyer, Keegan Sabilo. And, you know, I think I said this last time we were at Superspeedway, but it's interesting to me. that, yeah, the super speedways can bring in guys and give guys opportunities to win a race that maybe run 15th, maybe run 20th every week. But at the end of the day, throughout the entire course of the race, you're still going to see the guys that lead mile and a halves, that lead short tracks, that lead the mile and a third tracks. They're going to come out here and they're going to lead a lot of the super speedway race as well.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree, because I feel like they already are comfortable being in that lead, and already have, I think, the skills and the steady hand in that wheel. Now, anybody can win one of these super speedway races. I mean, you definitely can, but it helps to have that experience to be in the lead, because when a lot of times, I mean, I know me myself, when I'm racing and I feel like I'm good enough to be in the lead, when I get in the lead, I start to drive, I guess, a little bit anxiously in a way. And if you're already used to being in the lead, it kind of helps to give you a little bit steadier of a nerve, I guess, right?
Yeah, and at super speedways, the nerves are typically picked up a little bit too. So you got to think, compared to a mile and a half, if I take the lead at a super speedway, to your point, I do get a little bit more nervy because you're watching a mirror so much rather than driving the racetrack. You're racing the guys around you. And at a super speedway, that's just so difficult. And to our point, if you're not used to leading the races and you get up to the lead in a super speedway, it can be tough to hold on to it, which is why I think we see people like James Harris, like Nathan Meyer, like Keegan Sabilo dominate through the green flag running of the race. But to your point from earlier, they might not be one of the ones to win it, because one of these guys that aren't used to leading, they've only got to lead the one lap, and you really only have to lead that for about 50 feet.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, if you just generate the right run out of turn number 4, that's all you need to do. I got to say, I'm impressed with Dan Hillowick. He's getting some big runs here. He is
William Mann Jr., man, pushing him
here. Yeah, William Mann Jr. doing a great job pushing him. And, of course, we saw William Mann pushing the 7 of Tyler Meeks earlier, I do believe. No, that was actually, I'm sorry, Kilgore. And was doing a good job. It looks like they're going to get hung out. It looks like the 3 of Colby Jackson being pushed by Timothy Babcock. Now, Babcock, as I mentioned before, looked like he was a little bit wary of pushing the 3, but I think he has gotten a little bit more comfortable.
I think you're right. I think that they're starting to get a little bit less nervy out on the outside groove. It's still just, it's sketchy whenever I see him 3 wide, man. The trucks just move around a lot through the center of the corner. Oh, Timothy Babcock. Oh, that's going to chuck up that outside line pretty heavy. Babcock just missing, honestly, the turning point to the tri-oval there a little bit, tucked up under the back bumper of the 3.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't hit it hard. It definitely generated some smoke, that's for sure. It looked dramatic. I think he's okay, though.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, it definitely has messed up a lot of the runs, I'd say, for the middle and the top groove. I mean, I think something that those 2 grooves have kind of almost disintegrated. Oh, what a save!
There's Colby Jackson, James South, both of them spinning. Garth Snyder in it as well, going into the outside wall. Colby Jackson, George Young hard into the inside. Timothy Babcock, Andrew Hale, James South stuck down on the apron into turn 3. That's a pretty big one going down into the corner.
That is so sad. George, no, that was my pick. Come on, I was rooting.
He's got a faster pair. You're all right. He's just he doesn't have his barrier anymore. His shield is gone.
Somebody needs to go get it. Yeah, let's take a look back at this. Looks like I think it starts. Oh yeah, it looks like I think Brad Thacker gets a little bit loose, comes up. They almost had it saved, but then a second part of this accident happens. I think with the 3 of Adam Kilgore.
There is so much that just happened. I'm telling you, there's so many variables about why that accident just happened. To your point, Brad Thacker
not Adam Kilgore, Colby Jackson, the 3.
We're going to watch this one more time. Watch Brad Thacker on the inside groove, getting a push from George Young. At the exact same time, James South is trying to make it 3 wide into the middle, and there's just no room because Brad Thacker got a little bit of contact from George Young, sent him up to the outside, which is just a bump draft. And if James South did not make it 3 wide at the time, probably would have been all right, but that's super speedway racing. Somebody's going for a hole at the same time. Somebody else is giving a bump. A little bit of contact sends them into each other, and it was honestly just a chain reaction after that.
Yeah, definitely a big accident there. That's unfortunate as we're closing in on the halfway point. Now, this is going to be an interesting caution. I think everybody's coming down to gas it up because this might be doable. This might be doable. On
is this right outside the window?
Right outside the window.
Oh, yeah, they'll be able to save a good bit under the caution, and then again through the draft you can save a good lap, 2 laps, 3 laps over the course of 30. So I think they'll be okay, but there could be a couple people, right? The guys that, if there's a guy leading for a good 15, 20 laps of this thing, I would maybe be worried about them under the green flag. Yeah. But other than that, I think they will be fine.
Yeah, no, I definitely I definitely agree. I'm right there with you. I think that there is possible, but like you said, it's going to be almost a scramble to not lead laps in a way.
That's a good point. It's so weird whenever racing can turn into that, but hey, man, that's the strategy that it comes down to. Looks like pit road was a little bit cleaner this time. I'm going to go back and make sure I'm not jinxing it, but it does look like we're okay coming out of pit road. This caution break, we're gonna use this opportunity to shout out a couple of our sponsors here that allow us to put on this show week in and week out. Obviously, first and foremost, Champion Power Equipment. This broadcast is brought to you by Champion Power Equipment. Since 2003, CPE has earned a reputation for designing and producing the market's finest power equipment. With over 4.5 million generators sold in North America, Champion has decades of experience providing dependable and durable power products designed and engineered in the United States for the North American and world markets. Visit us at championpowerequipment.com for more information. Champion Power Equipment, powering your life. Big thank you to Champion Power Equipment for sponsoring this series and for putting their logos on the hood there of James Harris, our league owner. Just very beautiful to see their colors on the front hood of that 55 up at the front of the field as well, right behind the pace car. Also, gonna use this opportunity to shout out because the pace laps at Talladega, they can take a little while. I'm telling you, you can take a pretty nice bathroom break in real life under the stage breaks. So we're gonna take a little bit more time to talk about some more sponsors. Green Mountain Grills, introducing Green Mountain Grill, where innovation meets flavor and your grilling experience reaches new heights. Are you tired of the same old grilling routine? Elevate your barbecue game with Green Mountain Grills, the ultimate choice for enthusiasts who crave precision, performance, and mouthwatering results. Why should you choose Green Mountain Grill? Why? Well, they have smart control technology, versatile cooking options, quality craftsmanship, wood-fired flavor, and they are easy to use and easy to clean. Ready to transform your outdoor cooking experience? Choose Green Mountain Grill, where every meal is an adventure and every bite is a masterpiece. Upgrade your grilling game today. Visit www.greenmountaingrills.com/company. Big thank you to Green Mountain Grills. Then Brian, let me guess what you're going to say. Oh, I'm getting hungry.
That's it. Yeah.
I knew it. It's
no,
weekend.
Actually, I'm not getting hungry. I'll be honest, I am not. Right before this broadcast, I ate a bunch of haddock, which is a type of fish, and it was really good.
Nasty.
Fried fish, man? What are you talking about?
I don't like fish. I don't. The only thing that comes out of water that I'll eat is shrimp.
Okay, well, man, to each his own.
I'm picky. I like hamburgers and hot dogs.
That's what our producer just said. I like insects, and that's exactly what shrimp technically kind of are in a way. They're crustaceans. They're kind of like water bugs in a way. We're just grossing out the audience. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my gosh. It's starting to mess me up a little bit. I'm an arachnophobe, so I'm just you talk about insects, and I just for some reason in my mind goes to spiders, even though they're not an insect. But I just think of spiders, so they freak me out.
Yeah, I don't like bugs.
I don't like them. I like Spider-Man though.
I do like Spider-Man, yes sir.
Oh boy. But the thing is, if somebody told me, hey, if this spider bites you, you'll get Spider-Man powers, I would still not do it because I hate spiders so much. Like
I don't know, man.
I'd be so scared.
But I mean, it just depends on how much I trust that person.
I mean,
they could be lying to me.
I mean, would you trust a partner to manage that spider to give you spider powers? Because if so, you should contact Blackstone Management Partners. Blackstone Management Partners guarantees an unrivaled one-on-one approach with every client, providing them the solutions and services required to keep their dynamic brands thriving and one step ahead of the ever-changing consumer marketplace. Blackstone comprises expertise in marketing, communications, talent management, and event management. Working with our clients, we not only use traditional but state-of-the-art platforms, including mobile marketing, experimental marketing, and cause-driven marketing. Visit www.bsmpartners.com.
I gotta be honest, that was the best transition I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, different in there. Okay, well, my producer's roasting me for the Green Mountain Grills read for something on there, but so we're gonna go right back into the racing action. Thank goodness, or else I might quit my job. James Harris leading us back down to the green flag. Jumping down in front of Nathan Meyer. A little bit of a gamesmanship restart between those two, and this front three looks awfully familiar.
Yeah, I think that definitely was according to plan. Harris, I was wondering why is he going so early like that? But it seemed like it was according to plan for him and Nathan Meyer. I do believe they have some sort of thing worked out to where they're going to work together. Is the top six essentially all single filed? Never mind. Here comes Keegan Sabilo. That's an interesting move for Sabilo. I don't really understand why he would jump out without any help, but it looks like the 67 says, hey, I'll help you, buddy.
Yeah, that's still not going to be enough for him. I mean, Garth Schneider kind of coming up, Tyler Meeks, Carter Casey. The thing is, you got to put yourself out there. You got to put yourself onto the outside groove and hope that a couple people will stick their nose out and get up there with you. It's really just kind of a hopeful game. And, there's still so much time left in this race. I don't necessarily blame Sabilo. And look, it's kind of working out for him now that the 67 is all over the back bumper through the tri-oval. I mean, he's giving him a really good shove almost side by side for second.
Yeah, I mean, I if it stays green, though, I think that Sabilo just is making a mistake because that higher groove, that burns even more fuel. And as well as he's in the front of the group, so he's getting he's having to cut the air. But here comes Garth Schneider trying to make it 3 wide here with Tyler Meeks in tow.
And you were talking about Keegan Sabilo burning gas. Well, what about Garth Schneider out on the very, very outside by the wall? Not only are you running the longest distance, but you're getting a little bit of side draft from that wall as well, pulling on that rear spoiler, maybe even losing a little bit more fuel. But here, Tyler Meeks ducks back down to the middle lane, gives a hole for Garth Schneider, but Garth doesn't really want it. Looks like he's going to the back.
Yeah, Garth was having a little bit of a technical difficulty there, so I think he hopefully will fall in behind Carter Casey. And Carter Casey was one I do believe started up towards the front. I think he had the pole.
On the pole.
We haven't seen him since then. I mean, I think he's been playing it cautious.
Reese's Puffs, peanut butter chocolate flavor. I hope we can get him in the broadcast booth after this and get him to sing that for us.
Yeah, maybe he will.
Oh, if he wins the race, it's got to happen. It's got to, or else we can kick him out of the league, right?
Is that something that James Harris said, or?
I mean, I'm saying that James Harris said it, even if he didn't.
I don't know. I'm a little concerned about this race for the lead here. I mean, you see the 67 kind of bumping the 77, getting him a little out of sorts. That 67 is really good at pushing, but I think that maybe the 77 is just not so good at receiving those pushes. That's the thing about a partnership here when you're in a super speedway race. You got to be good at receiving the bump and pushing. Oh!
Hold it on this camera. I want to see the front view of Keegan Sabilo. I want to see us all over the back bumper Sabilo. I want to see when the bump happens, how much does the back end of that 77 travel? Because a lot of it is natural. To your point, Sabilo's been having a hard time hanging on, but a lot of it is just natural movement throughout the chassis. Whenever you get a little bit of a bump, not really seeing it too heavy down the back straightaway here as we are not quite to the back bumper. Finally to the back bumper of the 77. But a very light push, not anything too aggressive. Through the corner, though, is where we can really start seeing problems. This is 67. Fades out to the outside. Make sure he gets that oil temp a little bit cooled off. Pretty steady through 3 and 4, but then he ducks down to the inside into that left rear quarter panel. That's the danger zone that can really get Sabilo struggling through the corner. It did kind of mess with him a little bit there, but it was not too aggressive through the tri-oval, though. Kind of unbanking of the car, right? Or it's like a middle banking between the flat that we're on right now and the corner. And it just seems like the tri-oval could be a trouble spot for those big pushes as well.
I just don't like how the 67's not steady at all right now. He keeps wiggling around. He or she, I should say, keeps wiggling around quite a bit, and I'm just not sure. I mean, if I had him on my back bumper, I'd be a little worried, to be honest with you.
Oh man, I can't wait. I'm gonna feel really bad if it really is a girl. After,
I would do.
If Kaylin's a girl after this, because I've been saying just call the 67 a heap. Anyway. 2x2 through the pack. We've already made enough jokes about this as it is so far. James Harris up in the race lead, taking it with Nathan Meyer. Tyler Meeks as well, following him through on the inside. The outside line's kind of faded back a little bit, but they have a lot more numbers than I think I've seen from them the entire night.
And I think the reason they're fading back is just because of the unsteady nature of the bump drafting that we're seeing. And it also, as well, could be temperature starting to go up as well. I mean, we got to keep in mind that's something we don't talk about. You did mention it briefly there about trying to keep that oil temp low by dipping the nose down a little bit to the higher side. But that's something that, a little bit of a wiggle there for Dan Hillewig.
That was a save. That was a great save there from Hillewig. That could have been huge coming out of turn number 2. Instead, Hillewig keeps that thing straight, and we stay green at 83. Man, or 63. That was very, very close coming out of 2. Garth Schneider, he might be the least content one to ride on that outside line or the middle line. He just wants to make it 3 wide every single time he gets the opportunity.
He don't even have any help. I mean, you have to have someone. You got to have a dancing partner to be able to make something happen. And here comes, I do believe, the 51 of Colby. No, that's actually Lorenzo wanting to maybe jump up there.
Man, Junior got just a little wide out of the tri-oval. Sabilo had to check up to let him back into the inside line, or else they might have wrecked coming back down to the start-finish line with the 29 coming back down the racetrack. They're okay for now, but through 1 and 2, Sabilo all over the back bumper of William Mann Jr., trying to push him down the back straightaway, trying to get him to the outside of Nathan Meyer and push him to the lead around James Harris.
Yeah, but William Mann Jr. is just not steady. I mean, he's not really holding a great line. You can see he's moving all over the place. He's moving up the track. He's moving down the track. And this is going to be an accident. This is going to be an accident.
Oh, he came down.
Here we go.
Oh,
how do they
everybody
keep that
saves it.
together? Wow.
How? I can't believe the field is not just wadded up right now. William Mann Jr. stuck in the sucker hole here with Sabilo. You got to think Sabilo's thinking, I got to get around this guy immediately.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of scary because, I mean, you can tell Sabilo wants to push him.
Oh, boy.
But really can't because he can't predict where he's going to be.
Oh, this is sketchy, man. This has gotten really, really sketchy here. Mid-pack, the front four, kind of skating away on the inside groove, gotten themselves single fire. Look at Russ Kilgore. He's like, man, I got to duck out of this. This has gotten absolutely way too hairy with still 25 laps to go.
Yeah, that's definitely a little scary right there. And who can blame him? Just, as you can see, Sabilo kind of biting the bullet and going down to the bottom side to kind of stay away from William Mann Jr. And I know William is a really great driver, but it just seems like something about that truck just not handling right for him here tonight, as he's being, of course, trying to get to the back bumper of the the five of Gar Snyder. Gary.
Yeah, and, you know, William Mann Jr. is William Mann Jr. is our last Superspeedway winner, right? So, I mean, you know, he can get it done, but just the last couple times by, whenever he was getting those pushes from the 77, it was just a little bit too nervy from the 29 leading that pack. He looks a little bit better as a pusher right now.
Yeah, I think that it's just he doesn't seem to know where to run in order to accept those bumps. You know, he wasn't staying down in the middle lane. He kept moving up to the top and moving down to the bottom. And it's like Keegan has no way to predict when to push him. So it's like, you know, you want to try to hold the lane. And for him to be a pusher, 29 to be a pusher, it works a lot better because he can just watch what the 5's doing and try to just stay doing what he's doing.
I mean, it's completely flipped since Gar Snyder has gotten in front of the 29. I mean, that outside line was struggling with William Mann leading, but with William Mann pushing, that outside line is absolutely flying.
I'm a little worried about Colby, though. Colby is all over the back of the 29 right now. I feel like we could have a case of pushing the pusher here very soon.
Oh, and the trucks are bad for that, man. I mean, that's an automatic wreck. I feel like you can get away with it sometimes in the A car with just how sturdy and durable and how much tire or contact patch there is between the tire and the road for the A car. Here in the truck, pushing the pusher can be devastating, especially if there's a decent run up on the truck up front. Here, though, the top three, they're pushing the pusher right now, but they're all lined up nose to tail. It's not like it's a big hit coming to the back bumper of Gar Snyder. It's just tiny little taps over and over and over on the back bumper.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about that next gen, but you can do that in the next gen. You can't do it in the corner as much, but I mean, you could do it on the straightaways for sure, and it's not that big of a deal. But these trucks, you're 100% right. I think it's something about, I don't know what it is. It's almost like hitting a cue ball in billiards. Oh, problems. The 51 of Brian Lorenzo around. Yellow flag is flying.
George Young, your pick. Kalen Mitchell down to the inside. You mentioned Lorenzo still spinning up the racetrack. I couldn't quite tell who that was. Another yellow car coming back across on my feed. We'll have to get a replay to see who all was involved that time coming across the start-finish line. Oh, man, 4 wide. Well, Lorenzo to the second inside, and Hillwig kind of came down and wrecked him.
Yeah. I don't think Lorenzo really did anything wrong here.
No.
I mean, there's room enough for 4 wide. I think that was he had plenty of room to make that move, and I just think Hillwig maybe just didn't know that he was there. I'm not sure. We're going to have to look back at this one again. You see Hillwig right
so
there.
far down that he hit Sabilo under him, too. That's what's strange to me. Like, he kept going left.
I'll tell you what, Babcock got incredibly lucky that he phased through right there. But let's look at it from Hillwig's point of view. I'd love to look at the cockpit through Hillwig's eyes. Because, I mean, I feel like I would love to see what he was doing with his wheel. What was his visibility like? Could he see the 51 or the 51?
Yeah, here it is. I mean, he's definitely going to be able to see the 51.
There he is right there.
You can tell he's just trying to fit into that hole, but
not a lot of wheel movement.
And I'm just surprised that he came all the way down to the bottom line. Like, he came all the way down to the bottom and turned himself across Sabilo's nose, too. So,
I think it's
I
a
don't know.
case. It's clearly a case of him trying to get behind the 51 and just
Yeah.
mistimed it. I think that's exactly what it is.
I think so too. It's just weird that he continued going down left. Like the way that he just drifted left, it almost felt like a monitor turned off and he was just trying to hold the wheel as straight as possible.
It
Like
could have been. I mean, it really could have been. You might be right on the money there. I don't know.
it's just the fact that he turned him and then kept coming down left that has me thinking that. I could definitely be wrong, but either way, I think we're going to use this opportunity to take our final commercial break of the evening as everybody comes down to take their final pit stop of the night. Be sure to stick with us. We're going to have every lap to the finish on the other side.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to the Talladega Superspeedway for the finish of the Champion Power Equipment iRacing Truck Series. I cannot wait to get this one finished, man. We got 18 laps to go at the line. This time, you could not ask for any better action on the iRacing service than what you get here on the grid.
Yeah, no, this is gonna be a good finish here. I have no doubts about that. I mean, you said that y'all had a really great race yesterday, and I think let's see if we can make this one. You can get a better finish here tonight. I mean, we could see possibly
it's impossible.
a very, very close finish. Hey, it's impossible, huh?
Dude, Justin Levine's leading coming out of the tri-oval. Brandon Edstrom intentionally turns, well, it looked intentional. He didn't intentionally turn him. Looks intentionally turned him, coming to the checkered flag. Levine finishes 5th. Brandon Edstrom's going through to win the race and gets DQ'd on the line, and they tie behind him for 2nd, which ends up actually being for the race win because Brandon got DQ'd. Impossible to beat that, but we're going to try. We got 18 laps to figure it out. Carter Casey on the inside groove, Nathan Meyer on the outside. Till we won up last night?
We're going to definitely try, like you said. Carter Casey, not with a whole lot of help there on that restart. Hopefully he can get up to speed here. But I do believe Nathan Meyer and James Harris just working incredibly well here together. I think that Harris gonna be able to give that momentum to Meyer on this backstretch here. You can see William Mann Jr., of course, getting a solid run with the aid of Brad Thacker.
Oh man, yeah, they're coming big time in that third or in that second little section. But Brad Thacker actually backs off the back bumper of William Mann. I thought he was going to stay connected and they were going to make a move to the outside, but they're surprisingly content for that middle lane. Sabilo's not, though. Andrew Hale's not. Jason Taylor's not. 5 drivers all of a sudden up to the wall.
Yeah, Virgin on 3 wide. Looks like George Young kind of left out in the middle. No one likes my pick, apparently. But Keegan Sabilo, though, getting some big pushes there from Hale. And have friends. That's right. Key number 2 is have friends. And clearly some drivers out here making friends.
Man, that was your key to the race. You should have been in there in the Discord before the race and been like, who here likes each other? And that one of those guys should have been your pick.
Would have been a great question. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Oh, man, unfortunately, like you mentioned, George Young just hasn't had anybody. But look, he's up into the top 10 in that middle lane.
But you remember the third key, though, is don't die. So.
Oh, and we've got 16 laps left at the line to figure out who's going to. But we are at that point where I said in the beginning, at this point, you don't lift until you see God or the checkered flag.
Yeah. Well, hopefully I don't have to see God for an iRacing race.
If you've got your force feedback turned up really high, maybe. It's going to torque your complete upper body off of your neck, maybe.
Man, that's an interesting saying. That's all I'm saying. It's just in an iRacing race.
Where I was going with that. And well, look. It was in an ARCA race from Daytona earlier this year. Quote of the year. Gotta love it that it came from an ARCA driver. But look at this on the outside groove. 3 cars lined up nose to tail. Sabilo, Hale, Jason Taylor, all pushing to the lead.
Yeah, no, they're looking great. And I love that Sabilo has got linked up with the 4 and the 15. We already know the 4 and the 15 known for working together. They've gotten wins working together. And I think I'd love to see Sabilo kind of tag himself onto that. I mean, if that works, then that'll be a great move for him. But, Carter Casey, who started on the pole, he's back in contention again here, leading that middle group.
Ooh, the outside groove has a pretty decent run into turn 1. I think it's going to stagnate through the corner, but I think they'll get another decent shove down the back as Jason Taylor's all over the back bumper of the 4. He should be able to get him to the back bumper of Sabilo and shove him all the way down the back straightaway. The only problem is the 2 inside lines are also just hooked up super well. But with that, the 77 is just a little bit quicker. We're 3 wide for the race lead.
Problems. The 21 of James South turned down onto the apron. No caution. The 82, I do believe, is well involved. No yellow. We stay green as they are packed up here like sardines.
Could have been a bigger problem there towards the back of the pack. Unfortunately for James South and the 82 of Nick Jazbowski. Just unfortunately for those two, they're out of this one unless we get a yellow flag to come out. Up towards the front of the field, though, Carter Casey stuck in the sucker hole in the middle, trying to side draft Sabilo on the outside, but that outside groove is moving. They are flying out there with Andrew Hale all over the back bumper of Sabilo.
Yeah, Sabilo's turned into a fairly adequate plate racer. I know we talked to him last week. He was like, big problems. Whoa, it's Sabilo tag.
It's the entire field
is in this.
Oh, my word. It's literally the entire field. It's the entire field. Oh, my word. This is unbelievable. It's going to be easier to name who's not involved.
Yeah, we got pieces of race truck all over this track right now.
They're still wrecking.
Gar Snyder was probably the best one to get out of that. I don't know if he got anything in this, but he was the one that essentially is going to be in first after this accident. That was wow. I thought Sabilo was going to get through it, but then someone comes and tags him, and wow, this is just an absolute crazy accident. That was the first one.
That was the lap before. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, South got needlessly side drafted and spun out going down into turn 3. but it ends up working out great for him because he would have been in this mess. So
Oh, yeah.
to be fair, James South is probably thanking the 23 for chunking him for no reason. But this is just,
Wow.
I mean, what in the world?
Whoa. I mean, look at all these. I mean, these hits are hard too. Like some of these secondary hits are pretty bad. Oh man, we're gonna have to. This is a big one to unpack. What started this is the main question I think we have.
Garth Schneider
at
should
this.
have been done for, man. We got to watch this from Garth Schneider's point of view, too, after we figure out the fault. Great job to come through
It
for the
looks
lead.
like a bad bump to the
Yeah.
from the 15 to the 4.
I think you're right.
I think it was a bad bump that sent the 4 down.
Garth Schneider, man, he's Tokyo drifted 3 times, man. Garth Schneider somehow is going to come out in the race lead of this thing. Watch the 5 on the inside. Third car on the inside. Kyle Larson truck paint scheme. I mean, obviously, looking out to the outside, the start of the accident, Jason Taylor just offset to the right on Andrew Hale. Clipping the bumper. James Harris, William Mann, Casey Carter, Keegan Spila all involved. Garth Schneider in that 5 on the inside. Little bit of contact with Brad Thacker. And another driver, Jason Taylor, comes down, hits Thacker into the 5, and we got to switch to the 5. We got to just see what happens to the 5 here. I mean, he is drifting 3 times, man. He's sideways 3 different times, almost hitting the fence, and is able to hold on to that number. Look at it! Look at it! He's gone, man. He's gone. And he holds on to this thing and goes through to the race lead.
Yeah, that is awesome. Save of the race right there, and I don't think he got that much damage. I think it really just unsettled the race truck. I think he's okay when it comes to the damage. I mean, man, that was Garth Schneider play of the, that was the play of the race right there.
He slid the heck out of his tires, and he's putting 4 freshies on. I don't necessarily blame him. I don't know if he needs them, but look at it. I mean, this is awesome. Full speed this time.
Everybody involved in this crash, though. I think that's just what is so insane about this. You don't see these sorts of accidents very often. You see, of course, big ones at Talladega, but you don't see one that everybody's in it.
It's so funny to me that it started in the 3rd row on the outside, and because of the domino effect of people right rearing and left rearing people, it traveled up the pack to the race leader.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
Like,
I don't think I've ever seen one like that.
I don't understand how the wreck starts 3 rows back and somehow it travels forward to the race leader, but that's what we saw, man. That was, I mean, just one little minor bump going wrong while 3 wide can cause that whole issue. A lot of people, luckily, still had their fast repair. A couple guys that were at the back of the pack that were able to squeak through there, staying out. That's going to be the front 4 right here. Hemingway, Thompson, Mitchell, Andrew Hale, I do believe, all stayed out on the racetrack. Tyler Meek's going to be the first one out of pit road.
I'd be a little concerned for some of these drivers, though, like, because you know, a lot of times when you're at these tracks, you're going to see bump drafting a lot. Now, if someone bumps you just hard enough to maybe cause a tiny bit of damage, you could accidentally use that fast repair.
True.
That's something that we could have. Maybe some drivers didn't have one because of that. We'll have to wait and see. But it does look like, for the most part, everybody's still in it.
And Andrew Hale was actually the first one out of pit road. I got to correct myself. Andrew Hale being the first guy out on, I don't know if he took tires, but he's got enough fuel. Top 3 are the only guys that stayed out on the racetrack under this caution. Man, I can't believe I need an official count of truck numbers with damage in that wreck, or at least involved. Who all got at least a 0x from some contact? I would love to know.
Everybody?
Everybody except for James South and Nick Jasbowski.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those cases where it's easier.
Oh, Hemingway also, I believe, up at the front, drove through it. Didn't
I think
get a
this
touch.
is his first race as well, so hats off to him. You know.
Should we go back and see what happened to him? Yeah, let's see how he got through this wreck. We got a little bit more time here at Talladega. Of course, the back of the pack, just minding his own business. He was the one that turned James South for no reason the lap before. But here, now, find himself on the outside group. Wow, great job getting down to the bottom side. Typically, the right way to go. Gets it down on the binders. Pretty heavy contact for a couple of these guys. Tyler Meeks. Oh, my word. Holdwig almost destroyed this man.
Wow. I'm glad we went back and looked at this.
Eric McClure coming down and smacking the inside wall.
Is he okay? Somebody go check on him.
Dang, Dan.
Look at
Oh,
this.
my word.
Yeah.
What happened to Dan? Did he get hit from behind? Like he had to have... Oh, just ping-ponged. Oh, my gosh.
Oh.
Lorenzo, too, man. Holy cow!
Yeah, man, that was a rough hit for Hillowig right there, and wow, glad we
Holy
looked
cow!
back at that because I don't think we saw that initially.
No, I mean there were so many drivers involved. It's hard to see all of them,
Yeah,
but
that was
oh
probably the
my
most
goodness,
dramatic part one of it. Wow.
man! He almost went bowling down there. Well, he did go bowling. It's just he rolled a gutter ball.
But here we go. Pace car lights have gone out, of course. I do believe we're getting ready to go back green. Let's see who makes it to the end here with 10 laps.
Lights out and away we go. Just kidding. Don't watch Formula One. It sucks. Anyway, Cody Hemingway coming to the green flag with 10 laps to go. Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? Do we still stick with our race picks or do we go someone else? Right now, though, Hemingway in his first race is the guy up front. Oh, the 25 does not get going on the outside. Stacks up the entire outside groove.
He might even be in the wrong gear. I think he's not. He's going real slow. But I think he's in the wrong gear as he bounces off the 4 of Andrew Hale. This is definitely pretty he's just not getting up to speed. So I really think he started in the wrong gear. He's going up, almost gets into Snyder. It almost is like the 25's trying to block these other lanes. No, George Young, not my pick.
Oh, the 25 hard into the outside wall. George Young getting spun back down to the inside. That's going to do it for him. That's big damage to the left side.
Oh, man.
Was Tyler Meeks involved? Yeah, no, that's Kennison down there. The bright green trucks kind of confuse me sometimes, but that's Kennison down there on the bottom as well with him. Just going to get a look. Everything got kind of jumbled up. James Harris. Oh.
Harris, yeah. Harris just giving a bad bump to the 48. Was too close for...
Bam!
Oh. Yeah, Kennison just gets into the back of the 48, finishing off George Young there. That's unfortunate. And I think a lot of that, I'm not putting it all on the 25, but I think it just kind of caused a little bit of an atmosphere problem to where everybody was kind of on edge because, it just wasn't a good restart.
Well, it definitely wasn't a good restart for the 25. To your point, I think he might have been on the wrong gear, but coming out of turn number 2, it was predominantly on the bottom side of the racetrack, and
I'm not
James
saying
Harris just, I don't know, that was weird.
Yeah, I'm not blaming the 25.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that it led to a odd atmosphere.
Fair.
Indirectly, kind of. You see Kennison right here. We're taking a look at him, and he didn't seem like he was really trying to slow down at all. That's kind of an interesting thing. I mean, if you see people sideways and spinning all around you, I guess it's like, we're just going to Days of Thunder this thing. Let's go.
Well, it's a tough ass because if the caution doesn't come out there and you check up, well, you lose the draft.
Yeah, you lose the draft.
So I get what he's going for, but I feel like he could have pulled that wheel to the right and kept it full throttle and missed it. But hey, it's hindsight 2020. Unfortunately, you don't get hindsight in the moment, or else it wouldn't be called hindsight.
Tyler Meeks, though, out front right now.
I just know I say something stupid whenever I get a little chuckle from our producer, man.
I had a really dumb thought myself just now. You said hindsight. I thought it was like, do we just take some ketchup and pour it in our eyes? Hindsight.
Holy crap. That's an amazing dad joke. Are you a father?
No, I'm not.
That would be a great dad joke. And
I thought it was
that on the fly?
Yeah, no, I really did.
Oh man!
It just came to my mind. I was like, should I say it? Should I not? I don't know.
You need to trademark that one. Whenever I have a kid and I make that joke, I'll be sure to trademark. Be like, that's a registered trademark, Brian Brett Incorporated.
Oh man, ladies and gentlemen, we're having a great time up here in the broadcast booth on Rear Vision.
Oh my goodness, we are blinded by hindsight. It's looking a little red out here.
It is. I'm telling you, it hurts. All the acid in it is hurting. I mean, I don't think it would be very fun to have ketchup in your eyes, really. Or Heinz 57, or that don't sound fun.
Heinz 57 and whatever that. Oh, daggum it. What's the daggum? Spring dried tomatoes. I wish I knew that. Dude, I'm so upset I don't know that
If
song.
somebody's tuning in right now, they're probably like, "What is going on with the?"
Well, I
Grid
mean,
Vision
if they
broadcast?"
they should be used to it by now. If they've ever watched a Grid Vision broadcast, you would know. You would know that we are a bunch of idiots, and we like it that way.
That's right. But who's going to win this thing? Definitely curious. I know my pick is out pretty much. Let's see. Whose pick is still alive out here?
Hmm.
I don't think it really. James South's back in 13th. Who'd you pick again, Austin?
I picked the old winner from last year. I picked Jason Taylor. He's running the 8th place spot.
Oh, okay. So, hey, y'all still got a horse in the race.
Mm-hmm. Now, where is Darby's pick? Where's James South at? Oh, he's in 13th.
13th, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, he's still there. James South, he's taking his fast repair, I believe, so he'll be a-okay to go. I believe we're gonna have 6 laps to the checkered flag whenever we take the green.
Sitting in pit road.
Yeah. Can you tell me who you're picking for this Sunday so I know not to bet on him? Who's your pick? Who's your real life pick?
Man. Who's my pick for Talladega? I don't. Yeah, that's a tough one, man. That's a tough one. I'm gonna go with Brad Keselowski.
Okay, I'm betting on Brad Keselowski to finish last.
There you go. He's gonna break through this year. I got a feeling he's gonna break through this year.
I was at his last win, so if he never wins again, I would be kind of content with it because I was at his last one.
Well, I mean, he's come in runner up a bunch of times this
That's
year,
true.
Seems like.
Well, he's had that speed since about the halfway point of last season, where it's like he's just knocking on the door. Roush has been a little slow to start this year, but I think they'll find it. They'll find their groove, and I think they'll start clicking off some results, especially the Superspeedway. I mean, anytime we go to the Superspeedways, you got to count in the Fords.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree, and even going any further with NASCAR, I think Ty Gibbs is going to get one too.
True. Yeah, same. Even though that pains me to say, but I agree.
Yeah.
He's mega talented, but he's just spoiled.
Who's going to get it tonight? He's talented, very talented, and like you said, I think just his attitude rubs people the wrong way. He's young, but
yeah, he'll grow maybe.
But here we go. Time to get this thing underway here. I am looking at Jason Taylor. I think that he might have something here.
He finds a way to be here at the end of this, man.
His teammates up on the inside road. They're going to try to find a way to get together, I think. Pace car, though, dip it down pit road.
Yep, here we go. 6 laps to go. This time by Tyler Meeks, Cody Hemingway on the front row, Andrew Hale on the inside of row number 2 with the 67 of Kaylin Mitchell on the outside. Who's it going to be? 6 laps to go this time by through the restart zone. Once again, Tyler Meeks first to the loud pedal and back down to the start-finish line with a big bumper full of Andrew Hale.
Yeah, Andrew Hale definitely getting that 7 up to speed, trying to help Tyler Meeks. And it looks like it's going to help out a ton as they are rolling through 1 and 2. The 23 just not doing as well on the jump here. But it looks like the 67 of Kaylin Mitchell going to try to see if he can get that car rolling. Oh, 3 wide as Andrew Hale shuffled off the bottom.
Yeah, but look who's behind him. That's his teammate, Jason Taylor. They're hooked up. Yeah, they're hooked up already in the middle line, leading the inside or the middle line with the pole sitter right behind them also. So they've got a good pusher in Carter Casey.
The 67 just got a bad bump from Timothy Babcock. Almost had an accident there on that top line. Luckily, it did not break out. 4 wide almost. Woo!
Jason Taylor is shoving the ever-living heck out of Andrew Hale just about to the stripe. That time by, it's going to be Andrew Hale. That run from the middle groove was huge. And now Carter Casey to the outside, trying to make it 3 wide for the race lead. But Jason Taylor and Andrew Hale are too strong.
These guys are going to end up having a monopoly on the Superspeedway races because, I mean, they just seem to know how to generate a run right when they need to.
I mean, you're not kidding. They went from 10 laps ago, giving a bad bump coming out of turn number 2, wrecking every single car into the field, and now all of a sudden, they're running 1-2.
No, I wouldn't count out any of these other drivers, though. Look at the 3 of Colby Jackson. I didn't like what I saw earlier from Colby Jackson, but it seems like he's got a little bit of speed in that race car. Tyler Meeks, though, very strong on that bottom line. He's got the 56 of Brand Thacker. Now, Thacker seems to be pretty good at these Superspeedway races.
Yeah, and he's just sometimes it's good to be content right? You can be content running second on the inside line until the last lap or two, right? You can continue to push, and just keep your track position. And I'm loving that from Brad Thacker right here because he's pushing Tyler Meeks, and he pushes him so hard that he gets himself clear to where he could make a move if he wants to. I'm loving what I'm seeing out of that 56.
Oh, man, this is looking a little bit scary here. Colby Jackson electing not to push. I do believe the 51 of Brian Lorenzo put him 4 wide momentarily, as there's a lot of shuffling going on in this pack right here. Drivers just not content. And the closer we get to the end of this thing, the less content they're going to be. Everybody's willing to put their nose in kind of awkward places. And one driver that is definitely willing to put their nose in awkward places is John Lucido.
Yeah. I've been watching that too. it's getting down to the go time where Lucido somehow finds a truck width in between the inside and outside line that just does not exist, but it's somehow working. He's up to the 4th car on the outside groove, and I swear he was like double far back just a lap ago, but he put people 3 wide in just the craziest positions and somehow gets it to work. They just leave him just enough room to where he can stick his nose down there.
Yeah, I mean, who can blame him? James Harris, what is this is looking scary, 4 wide. Oh, they are still 4 wide. This could go badly at any moment. And here it goes.
Yeah, back up across the racetrack. Garth Snyder into John Lucido, into Keegan Sabilo. I believe Timothy Babcock has no front end. The caution flag has not flown yet.
No
Coming out of turn number
caution.
4, the caution flag has flown now. So we will have a green, white, checkered to finish this one.
And Andrew Hale was leading when the caution flag came out, I do believe. They might actually give it to me, because I'm not exactly sure. But I know when the caution flew, Hale was in the lead. And that was a very delayed caution here. 4 wide. Shocked it didn't come out right here. I mean, look at how close they... Ooh, there it is. You see Gareth Snyder down into the 55. There was just no room for 4 wide.
That's one of those things I gotta harp on it because I talked about it last Talladega race whenever Lucido made a 4 wide move that wrecked everybody. It's the 4 wide moves that, you know, if iRacing had a good spotter, or if everybody in the race had a live spotter, you could call this. You could call 4 wide and you'd be able to make it work. Your spotter would probably say 4 wide, 1 bottom for James Harris there, and 4 wide, 1 top for Garth Schneider, and that becomes a non-issue. But unfortunately, iRacing will not code in a 4 wide spotter for whatever reason, and this is just kind of what we get. I just don't feel like they really knew they're 4 wide or don't know how much room to give in that scenario, unless their spotter is really badgering in their ear 4 wide, 4 wide, 4 wide, and obviously we just don't get that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I do wish that they were a little bit more accurate when it comes to information, you know, giving you better information for sure, and especially at tracks like Talladega. I know it's not really relevant at other tracks, because you can't really go 4 wide.
You need it here, though. You do.
You need it, yeah.
Really need it, man. I mean, sure, if you're stuck on the bottom, it doesn't matter because you're just wrapping the yellow line anyway, right? But if you're in any of the other 3 rows, you need to know that you're 4.
But I think that even if they could give you that information, or even if they did, I don't know if that would necessarily even avoid the problem. Because, I mean, a lot of times you need to know distances on where exactly that person is close to you. Like, I mean, do you have 6 inches between them, a foot? That's
Good
where
point.
it comes down to having a live spotter. There's nothing that replaces that. If you can have a person, an actual person, in your ear telling you exactly where someone is at a track like Talladega, you're going to have an advantage over everybody else. You're going to be able to have somebody that tells you when the runs are coming. I mean, it's just nothing that replaces a live spotter. But here we go. We're going to have ourselves a green, white checkered. I do believe we have 2 of those possible here tonight.
Yes, sir, you would be correct. And look at who's in 2nd and 3rd. It's those guys again, man. Andrew Hale and Jason Taylor. I mean, they just find a way to be up here at the end of these Superspeedways.
That they do, man. I mean, and they're always very talented at these racetracks. And this might,
South up in 8th?
I don't know.
9th? What? I didn't even realize South was in the top 10. All of a sudden, South's up here. You never know what could happen on a green, white checkered. South could come out of this thing with a W.
He could. He definitely very well could. I mean, he always has been a good super speedway driver. And a lot of times with these types of races, you just got to be alive at the end. I mean, who's to say we don't have another, field-wide type wreck here on a green-white checkered? I mean, things just get so exciting, so intense on these green-white checkers as well. I mean, the whole soul of the race is essentially, they're battling for the win here. I mean, wins don't come easy here in Champion. So, I mean, who's to say that we don't see, a bunch of people get destroyed and whoever manages to survive that wreck be the one that wins?
Yeah, and to your point, it was so hard to win last year that we didn't have a repeat winner until the last race of the season last year. Like, which I know that sounds like, oh, well, that sounds easy to win if so many people won. You would think that there would be some type of domination in a league, right? Most leagues that you run in, there's 1, 2, 3 guys that win 75% of the races, straight up. It's just how it goes every single league I've ever seen. Here in Champion, it has not been like that. And last season, it just goes to show that the field is super even in a lot of scenarios, and especially at a super speedway. I mean, it's unbelievably narrow in terms of the field spread between these guys. So I just know anybody in the top 10 can walk away with this thing.
No, I definitely agree. I 100% agree. That anybody in the top 10, I think even I'd go even further than that. Anybody in the top 15, anybody that's still on the lead lap. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, anybody that's still on the lead lap could win this race.
After that wreck we saw earlier, heck yeah.
I mean, because all it takes is you to be a Gar Snyder and miss it, and
exactly.
be able to drive your way through it somehow. Especially if the white flag's already flown and everybody wrecks and you're the only one that makes it back up to speed. Yeah.
Who do you think here has the best wreck avoidance? Like, if you had to, I know that's kind of a tough question, but who do you think is typically the best in those kind of situations that you think could find themselves to skate through a late race accident and potentially put themselves up on the podium?
That's tough, man. That's tough.
I mean, last time it was William Mann Jr., right, at Atlanta? It was William Mann Jr. He was running about 5th to 8th on the last lap, and he comes through to win the daggum thing because he can get through the wrecks. So I wouldn't put it past somebody here. Brad Thacker in 4th. I would not put it past Brad Thacker if they get together up in front of him to potentially miss that wreck and come through and win this thing.
It's possible. It is definitely possible. I mean, there are some drivers that are really good at avoiding wrecks. But I don't know, when there's cars everywhere, it's kind of different. I mean, in that last day, I don't think anybody could really avoid that. It was so difficult to avoid. Here we go. Let's see.
Yep, the green flags, 13 white checker out of 2 possible attempts. Tyler Meeks, Andrew Hale, Jason Taylor, and Brad Thacker in the top 4. Who's it going to be? 2 laps to go this time by Taylor Meeks to the loud pedal on the green flag, and we are racing once again. 2 laps to go.
One thing about this, though, is the teammates, the 4 and the 15, not together, and it seems like it might be difficult for them to get together here. So how do they orchestrate that? Maybe Jason Taylor, if he gets clear, he could jump up in front of the 4. I think that would be what I'd bet to happen here, but I don't know. Andrew Hale getting a big run with the 56 on his back bumper. Nathan Meyer as well. They are a train of trucks here making a move, and it looks like already we see the 23 of Cody Hemingway. Ooh, jumping out. Ooh, this is getting a little bit close. Hale
it's tight.
Jumps down.
Oh, wow, that was tight coming into turn number 3. Andrew Hale actually leaving the outside open to Brad Thacker. They're going to be side by side coming out of turn number 4, coming to the white flag this time by. Do they get to the white flag? Will this race be official, or we would get one more yellow, one more green, white checkered? It's not meant to be. The white flag is out one more time around.
Yeah, white flag. Next flag will settle it. 3 wide right now for 5th place. It's Jason Taylor, Nathan Meyer. We're going to have some problems. Boom, there's the wreck. And, of course, no yellow flag. We're not going to see the yellow come out. This is a massive crash.
Oh, Colby Jackson just went to the apron. Colby Jackson just passed the leader on the apron. I don't even know if we're allowed to do that. But he
can do that.
Come on. 51 of Lorenzo through the middle, getting pushed by the 8 of Carter Casey. And that's probably deserved.
Yeah, I don't think
Colby Jackson. Still racing up towards the front, though. Brian Lorenzo leading the way. Carter Casey, our pole sitter, in second. Lorenzo blocks high on Nathan Meyer. Huge run on the outside. Gets the push. Now the 2 all the way down to the inside, but with no help. Nathan Meyer now ducks under the 51, coming to the checkered flag. They wreck behind, side by side to the line. It's going to be Nathan Meyer into 24 at the line by just 7,000ths of a second.
Wow, what a finish right there. I mean, Nathan Meyer able to get the victory. And if I'm not mistaken, I think he is still the points leader. That's going to give him a little bit of a buffer on the rest of the field here. And what a finish. Those drivers were connected going across the line. That was a awesome finish for Lorenzo and Meyer. We're going to take a look at the white flag lap here. And what an awesome last lap.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, coming to the white flag, still everybody clean so far, but obviously through 1 and 2, Jason Taylor 3 wide in the middle. Nathan Meyer comes down, and that's not really what causes the accident. They just start ping-ponging behind. 23 comes down a little bit. The 15, I don't know. There's a little bit of ping-pongy there on the exit of turn number 2. And then here, look, I know iRacing allows you to pass under the yellow line. I hate it. Don't do it. I hate whenever people do that. I will wreck somebody in an official race intentionally if they pass me under the yellow line. I hate that. So honestly, credit to Andrew Hale for doing this right here. And that wasn't even intentional. The 3 just threw a late block. So whatever. He did it to himself. The 51 of Lorenzo coming through 3 and 4. With the lead, he throws a really good block on Nathan Meyer. But here, Carter Casey fades down to the bottom to block the 2. And that gives Nathan Meyer a lane through the tri-oval to get down to the inside of the 51, and then it's just a side draft battle hit by then, and at that point, a little bit of door contact. Pretty clean, though. I mean, a little bit of door contact to the line, nothing too crazy. Nathan Meyer, though, with a huge run off of 4, winning it, clean and green.
I think that was a really respectful finish for Meyer and Lorenzo. They were just racing it out. Really awesome to see. I mean, even Meyer didn't go down below the yellow. I mean, he stayed on the racetrack. But yeah, no, I agree totally about the 3. I don't know if I'd wreck the guy on purpose.
I would.
But I mean, I understand that. But I'm pretty sure that if he did win this race, I think they would have taken the win from him, because I don't believe that is legal either. I think that's a reportable offense as well. So I'm not sure, but that is definitely interesting. What a last lap. And Keegan Sabilo able to miss that big wreck. He finishes 8th. So,
it's legal on iRacing. I don't know if it's legal in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series.
That's true.
I'm not sure. But regardless, Nathan Meyer is going to be the one to burn it down, or just slide it down to the start-finish line and exit. But we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we're going to interview our top 3 finishers on the other side. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series from the Talladega Superspeedway. We just had a heck of a finish here on that last lap. Nathan Meyer's the one that brought it home. But we're going to jump into our post-race interviews. And first up, we're going to bring in our 3rd place finisher, Carter Casey. Carter, I believe this is your 2nd race here in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series. Starting out on the pole, just kind of walk us through your race, the crazy accidents that we saw, especially that big pile up on the back straightaway, and how you ended up coming home in 3rd.
Reese's. That's all I've ever known how to pronounce it. Yeah, just starting on pole. I was hoping to kind of stay out front to start the race, and some guys working together. I'm out here kind of on a whim, if you will. I don't really have any drafting partners until like I start building a reform with these guys, start earning a little bit of trust. Hopefully I did that tonight, but once we got shuffled out with some guys working together, it was just kind of ride in the back, just hang out. Not press anything, and then about halfway to go, caution fell. Tried to do some fuel strategy if it did go green. Felt like we could have made it on fuel there, but it's Dega. Cautions come out. One of them came out. We were able to stay out and get that track position back, get back up front. Then we were 3 wide, and something happened. I got right reared in the middle of 3 wide. Big colossal wreck that was I was involved in. Luckily though, all the other wrecks that were around me, I was able to dodge them and had a good run coming to the line there. Was trying to push the 51 to the win, and he went to block high, and I kind of wanted to block the 24 high off of 4, but I just don't trust it. Not with netcode, and it's just a good run going. I don't want to throw it down the drain for him and me both. So I kind of gave him the high lane there and tried to block the 2, but just, I mean, I pretty much had a parachute out at that point, and then I don't know who it was, middle of trial coming to finish. I was in the middle of 3 wide, and the person on the inside was washing up, person outside was washing down, and I was in there, and then they door slammed and gave me enough momentum to pull P3 out of it. It was pretty entertaining being out there for sure.
Yeah, no kidding. Just about every time we come to Talladega, especially in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series, we get a pretty crazy show, especially coming to the line on the last lap. Carter, like you said, you just kind of kept it clean, kept it green, very safe on the last lap, even though maybe you could have thrown some big blocks. Do you regret not throwing the big block? Are you happy in hindsight that you came home P3 instead of maybe risking it for the win and potentially coming home 16th?
Being that I'm not running for points and some of these guys are, I think not throwing the block was the right move. I mean, I don't want to ever be that guy that joins middle of a season and just starts wrecking people. That's not who I would ever want to be. So I think it was the right move. Could I have made the block and pulled it off after I went back and looked at it? I probably could have, but I mean, just that's not worth it right there. I was really hoping the 2 was going to push me, but I don't blame him. He saw open real estate and went for it. So probably a little bit of a coulda, shoulda, woulda, but we got P3 out of it. It's not bad. So good run at Texas last week and get a P3 here. So good start to the season here.
Well, congratulations, Carter, on the P3 finish here tonight. Are there any shout outs you can give here at the end of it?
Yeah, just shout out to Champion Power Equipment for making this league possible. Thank you, and Brian over there for broadcasting. Y'all do a good job. I haven't seen Brian in a little while, so it's good to hear him talking, and I hope he's doing well. And
Yeah.
I just appreciate everybody that makes this possible.
Well, we appreciate you, Carter, for coming out here and putting on a good show for us, and congratulations once again for that 3rd place finish.
All right, thank you.
That was our 3rd place finisher, Carter Casey. Next up, Brian Britt is going to be talking to Brian Lorenzo.
Man, I mean, it sounded like Carter was trying to talk to me, and I just wasn't able to respond to him. That's just unfortunate.
Yeah, I wanted to cut it off so that you couldn't. You're welcome.
I see that. I see that. I mean, I could have been like, "Hey, man, great to hear your voice too." But no, it's all right. But Brian Lorenzo, Brian with an Y. I won't hold it against you. Great job to you tonight, man. I mean, what a finish between you and Nathan. I mean, it seemed like you guys raced each other with quite a bit of respect. What was it from your point of view? Do you feel like that was a good finish?
Hell yeah. I love racing like that. We're beating and banging, but keeping it clean, pushing each other to the limit all the way to the line. Just what a finish, man. That was very fun to be a part of.
And it was only 0.008 of a second, I do believe, between you and Nathan, so it was very, very close for sure. What do you think you needed to really be able to win this thing?
I think I should have been just a little bit more aggressive on the blocking. I slid up just a little bit because I thought he was going to side draft me coming into the line. If I hadn't done that, I probably would have been just a little bit closer, maybe if I had a chance to beat him.
Yeah, definitely could have been the case for sure. But great job to you, Brian. I know you did throw a block on Nathan there, but unfortunately he got clear and was able to jump down below you.
Yeah, I didn't think he was going to get clear.
He did, and what a race finish that was for sure. I mean, it was very exciting up here in the booth. I mean, tell us how it was, for some of those crashes. I know that I'd love to hear your perspective on that crash that involved the entire field.
It was definitely interesting, for sure. I believe I saw like the 15 or like the 7 kind of making contact. One of them turned the other, and I was actually right behind that, and I just juked it down to the bottom right in time, avoided that, and it ended up in the 2nd place finish. But to summarize this race, it was just action-packed. As you guys could probably tell, the guys no one wanted to run single file, no one was having that. Everybody wanted to just have fun, go 3 wide, and go crazy pretty much throughout the whole race.
Wow, we're actually looking back, I do believe, at this the last lap finish here. You had quite a run to be able to get this victory here, or get this 2nd place, I should say, here tonight. for sure. I'm definitely glad we have a producer that is loving to show this replay again, and just a fantastic job to you. Oh, where did he go?
He left.
Okay. Bye,
I
Brian.
don't know. he completely got out of the Discord, so he might have lagged out. I don't know what
He
quite happened to
might
Brian.
have. Oh, there he is.
He's back. Okay, let's pull him back down. Oh, what happened, Brian?
Sorry
Yeah,
about
we
that.
lost you.
My Discord crashes when I watch someone streams.
Oh.
So I don't know why it's doing that, but like I have his stream pulled up for the broadcast, and I don't know why stupid program keeps crashing. But what were you saying?
That's all right.
Sorry about that.
No, we were showing the replay, I do believe, of kind of those last laps there for sure, and it was just great to see that, and for you to be able to work your way through like that. I know you I probably needed that finish, I'd say, for sure. I mean, how are you looking in the points? Do you feel like you're going to be maybe going after the title, or do you feel like you don't have a chance?
Definitely don't have a chance for sure. We're doing part-time this season, just going at it, doing the fun events. I believe I did. I forgot what race it was, but I did a race a few races ago and had a blast. And I got a few more trophies I want to get, or I try to get this season. I think we got Kansas coming up. I haven't looked at the schedule in a second. Yeah, we got Kansas coming up. Darlington's definitely going to be fun, and Charlotte. Definitely will see me there for those 3 races.
All right, we definitely look forward to seeing you there, Brian. Who can we shout out?
All right, you can definitely shout out the Champion Power Equipment brand for sure for giving us the chance to put on a show today. Thank you to James, of course, for hosting the league and letting us have fun. I love racing here every time I come back. I've been racing with these guys for a while, and these guys really know what they're doing. And thank you guys for obviously sticking out with us. And like I said, I think we put on a show for you guys today. So hopefully you guys can sleep and have a good night.
All right, I don't know if we're going to be able to sleep after that finish, Brian. But great job to you. We'll see you next time, Brian. Thanks for your time.
See you.
That was our second place finisher, Brian Lorenzo, just losing out to our race winner of Nathan Meyer. Nathan, walk us through that last lap. How the heck did you get through there, and how did you find yourself door banging to the line and picking up the victory?
Yes, sir. Oh man, that was a lot of fun. That last lap, man. I was really comfortable just pushing Thacker to the win there because we're good friends. And then I saw that I think it was the 15 was creeping up, trying to create that middle lane. And I told Thacker we got to come down a lane or he's gonna wreck me. We're gonna be way too close. And then I moved, and Thacker went up the racetrack a little bit and just created a hole. And then all hell broke loose. Everyone started to wreck, and then 51 came up with a head full of steam. And I thought about blocking him, but I thought that would just turn me because he was going so much faster. So I just let him go. And I had Thacker in my ear saying, "I got you, I got you, I got you." And then as soon as we were both clear, the top, I just zoomed down. And then I wasn't gonna come up to Brian because I thought I could get by him, but he came down, and then we just got locked on. I couldn't get off of him. And then yeah, that was a great finish. That was a lot of fun.
I was surprised that he left you the bottom lane through the trioval. Were you as surprised as I was?
Yeah, I don't know if he didn't look down and see that he was clear, but you got to imagine that I'm gonna dive down there, and I saw, I think it was the 2. He had a full head of steam too, so I was either gonna get bumped by him and win or whatever. But yeah, I'm really surprised he didn't come down there.
Well, kind of walk us through the rest of the race. That especially that huge crash on the back straightaway. I got to talk about that because that was massive. What was running through your mind? Getting caught up in that one and then seeing that everybody else got caught up in that one too.
Yeah. Man, me and James were controlling that whole first 45 laps of that race. Just the 2 of us up there, and then I saw everyone turn. I look to my right and I see Keegan spinning, and I go left to try to dodge it, but he nicked me and the whole field got into it. So I'm pretty sure everyone used a fast repair that they had there, but yeah, that was a big wreck. I haven't gone back to see it yet, so I don't know exactly what happened, but I actually thought I was gonna make it by and I didn't, and then I was like, oh, now I'm back in 11th on the restart with 10 to go. But yeah, it was a wild race.
Well, it was just meant to be then. All's well that ends well. It put you back into 11th so that you could come back and lead the thing at the checkered flag by 7,000ths of a second. So big congratulations on winning the thing tonight, Nathan. Are there any shout outs you can give here to wrap it up for tonight?
Yeah, huge shout out to John Thacker, pushing me to the win there. That was really cool. And then yeah, thanks to you guys at Grid Vision, Champion Power Equipment, Green Mountain Grills. This is a track my dad and I always wanted to come to, so pretty cool to be here somewhat. So yeah, just thank everyone for putting this all together.
Well, big congratulations to you, Nathan, winning here from the Talladega Superspeedway. Can't wait to see what you can do next week whenever we go back racing.
Thanks, man.
All right, that was our first place finisher, the race victor, Nathan Meyer. What a way to bring it home there on the last lap. You're watching it right now on Grid Vision, that replay of him taking it from Lorenzo. Brian, do you have any final thoughts about the racing tonight from Talladega?
I'll tell you, it was just a fantastic show here tonight. I mean, these guys put on a show, and it seems like every week in the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series, I mean, it's every week we talk about how great these races are, and can't wait to see what Dover looks like. I'll tell you that. And
I love that track.
Who will we see come out on top there? I mean, that's going to be a whole different host of issues that these guys, or challenges, I should say, that these guys are going to have to rise to.
And before we say goodbye to everybody, we're going to run you through our schedule one last time. Tomorrow night from the Talladega Superspeedway, once again, the Thunderclap iRacing Series at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. That's what I meant to say. And then Friday night, once again, Talladega Superspeedway, Ryker Performance, Friday night, NIS Top Split action. Can't wait to get that one kicked off. The A-Car, like we found out last night, puts on a heck of a show around these Superspeedways. But that's going to do it from us, from the entire Grid Vision team. We'd like to thank you for watching and participating in the chat for tonight's race. For more information on getting your lead broadcaster or starting your career in broadcasting, contact us on Facebook, X, or email us at info@gridvision.live. Congratulations to Nathan Meyer on winning tonight's race from the Talladega Superspeedway. This has been Austin Edstrom alongside Brian Britt and our producer, Austin Derbyshire. We will see you next time on The Grid.